Hi there. So welcome to the first of these videos. I hope you're having a good spring break or had a good spring break. So I assume that you probably forgot a whole lot of what we were going over. So we're going to review a bit about arrays. If you need to, go back and watch the other videos. So I'm going to quickly go over some of the stuff we've learned in this video. And then in the next video, we'll move on to using arrays and methods together for using arrays and arguments. The video after that will be returning new arrays, methods that return arrays. And then we'll go into two common array problems we have to deal with, searching and sorting. Once we've mastered those subjects, we'll go on. I'll have videos about 2D arrays, and that probably won't be covered for Monday's material, but I might as well make those videos. Those will probably come up more on Monday because 2D array problems are a bit of a issue. So you may hear babies with elephant feet and stomping around like dinosaurs in the background, which is okay. All right. So we are going to go ahead and get into it. So let's review our array, and you'll notice that I've moved over. I'm trying to move over to try JGrasp out. I'll see if I enjoy it more than Eclipse. So. Yes. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Sorry about that. I'll have to probably cut that out in the recording. My wife just came back by sneaking up on the kid. So, all right. So if we remember, an array is a collection of variables, essentially all next to one another. So here I've got an array, an integer array, which I'll call R, is equal to A. And we've got two ways of creating an array, if you remember. The first way is that I can create an array like this, which says, I'd like an array, it's going to store 10 different values in it, and since we've got 10 different values in it, I can access them essentially using this notation. So R0 is equal to 5, and this sets the value at index 0 in the array to 5. This sets the value at index 3 in the array to 1. And this sets the value of, and let's actually go ahead and see that, system.out.println array.toString R. Remember, if I can't just print out an array directly, unfortunately. I can't do this. If I do this, then what's going to happen? I'm going to get something that says this is an integer array at location 16C066 3D. This says it's at this memory location, which is not what we're looking for. So if we want to print this out nicely, there's a built-in method to do that, arrays.toString, and then you just simply pass it the array you want. There's reasons this is the way it works. But here we go. We see that the item at index 0 is set to 5 now, and the the item at index 3 is set to the value of 1. Now, why is everything else set to 0? Well, because that's the default value when we create an array. So remember, this is index 0. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? Now, what else? Now, again, these can be any kind of expression set in there. So int x is equal to 2. Array, so we can say array 9 is equal to, let's see, x times 6 plus the value in array 3, right? And this will be an expression that evaluates first before we store it. So it will be x times 6, which should be 12, and then array 3, well, what is array 3? Set that to 1, so 12 plus 1 would be 9, should be 13. So compile that again, and we get 13 stored in the last element, or index 9. What if I wanted to store it into the last element? Well, I can put any expression I want into these things. So in Java, the easiest way to say what is the last element of the array, if you don't know what the length is, How, in other words, if you don't know how big the array is, how do I know? Say you want to put the last an item in the last spot an array has, but you don't know how big the array is. So the way to do that is to use array.length. Now array.length in this case would be 10, right? Because this thing is 10 long, right? But unfortunately, the indices only go from 0 to 9. Hey, it's letting me know that the index is out of bounds. That's probably good to know. So what I should do in that case, what I do in this case is subtract 1 from that. Array.length minus 1, that will be the size of the array, the length of the array, minus 1, which is the last possible index. Compile that again. There. If I were to subtract 3, it would be the third from the last one as opposed to the last one. See, last, second from last, third from last. Okay, so that's pretty nice that we can do that. We can also, so we can make these expressions fairly complicated and fairly straightforward. Let's see. Okay. Oh, just somebody came by. All right, moving on. So arrays are, let's see what else we can do with this. Well, we can also do this expression, which is a common expression I like to do on exams, but you're probably not going to see it too much in the wild, so to speak. So here, this side still evaluates the same value, which is 13. Not sure how much I like this font. Let me know what you think about it. Just trying it out. So this is 13. This is values of 13, but what is the index we're storing the item at? Well, what is array 3? Array 3, right? We evaluate that. That's 1. So this is now going to get stored in index 1. So now 13 gets stored in index 1. Why index 1? Because this evaluated to 1. Right? So we can even do something annoying like this too. All right, so again, how do we work this out? Array 3, that evaluates to the value 1. Okay, and now what is array 1? What is stored in array 1? Well, we hadn't stored anything array 1, so it evaluates to 0. So now we're going to store 13 in index 0. Please be right, please be right. I was right, yay. It's always, when you start nesting them like that, it's generally a bad idea to not do it without trying to write things down, right? You can possibly do this one in your head. Don't try to do anything above that in your head. It's, it gets dangerous. So, okay. So arrays aren't anything too scary, but we can retrieve the values, we can set the values, we can set values like this, array 0. Now that changes everything. Okay, where's my error? 31. So, it says I have an error. I doubt it. All right, so what else do I want to show you off with arrays? Well, you may have noticed I've been using the term index, which we've been using a lot in another context. What has that context been? It's been used in the context of strings. We've been dealing with strings, right? And I mentioned earlier that basically that you should treat strings as character arrays in a way. Or strings are simply character arrays. The string, let's go with word, is equal to hello, right? And right, and if I were to do system.out.println.word.character at, and you see that came up with an int index up there, it says int index. So if I want the letter at index 3, right? That should be L, index 4 should be O. There we go. All right. So, and in reality, these things actually are character arrays underneath them. And let me now teach you a new function. So first off, we've been dealing with integer arrays primarily, but you can make arrays of basically anything else. Let's look at character arrays, which are arrays of just individual letters. So in a lot of times in like C, you don't get to work with strings unless you're importing the library. Naively, all you get to work with is character arrays. So let's go with call it letters is equal to, let's see, word dot. Oh, it popped up, 2-character array. And this will give me a character array of, this will take the string and turn it into an array of characters. So now if I do system, see, system out the print line, arrays, dot toString letters, and print it. Now look what shows up. HELLO, exclamation point. So we've got all of our letters. So you can turn a string into a bunch of character, you can turn a string into an array of characters. And then we can also turn it back, which I'll show you in a bit. But what's nice is that now we can manipulate this pretty easily. We can go letters dot, so let's go letters dot, so letters 3 is equal to P. And then letters 4, we'll turn that into an exclamation point, and that turns that into, oh, really? Oh, right, what did I do? Why didn't it have the changes take place? Well, because I printed it out before I made the changes, but not after. So now we've got help with 2 exclamation points, which is something I'm sure many of you screamed for some of the various problems I've assigned. Apologies. So we can also turn a character array back into a string by going string. You can say word is equal to, let's see, you can't just say word is equal to letters, right? Got to actually create a new string out of that. We can actually use the string constructor and pass it a character array. And to do that, we can do system, and that will create a new string out of the letters. Right? Remember, string is an object just like scanner. And most of the time you do, when we set it up, we do it like this on the top line. And that just, and because we use string so much, we can avoid doing something like this. We don't have to use this notation like that. Of course. All right, so now we've got our words. So next I will go and look to, so that's it for this review video. I'm going to go on to working on some methods taking in arrays in the next video.